spite is one of the most fueling feelings. You know, your enemies will laugh at you if you fail. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hello, everybody. Hi a lot. Hi, very much. Hi, please. If you're new here, my name is Marie Akanga. I create content around lifestyle, travel, girlhood, and self development. I am so glad to see you again, especially if you have watched last week's video, because that's how you'll understand everything that I'm about to talk about today. If you've not watched it, then it's okay. You can sit with us. You can sit with us and you can go back and watch that video to get a bit more context. Now, let me first of all start by thanking everybody who has, in one way or the other, like appreciated the content I put out last week. I mean, this week, because for me, this thing happened 6 months ago, but putting it out on the internet made it feel like it's fresh all over again. Made it feel like, oh my God, I'm exposing myself. I have said my business on the internet. Now everybody knows what's happening. And yeah, of course, not everybody knows what's happening. Only people who have watched the video, who have subscribed to my channel, who know me personally, are the ones who know what's happening. And it's been like I've felt a lot of support, even from people that I don't know. A lot of people who have commented, you know, have talked about that they believe in me, they believe in my brand, they'll follow my business. Thank you so much. I've also seen everybody who's followed my Instagram, Trailmarks Expedition. That's my business Instagram. My personal Instagram is marie.akanga. I don't really care if you follow that one, but if you follow Trailmarks Expeditions, you're a real one. If you support my business, if you come and book a trip with us, if you join our girls' trip, and while I'm at it, I might as well just let the cat out of the bag. We are planning yet another baby girl retreat. The girls are like, okay, sis, what's next? Where are we going next? We are ready. Our bags are packed. Tunanunua nguo, hatuvai, tutasema hizi are the next trip. Sis, give us the next trip. Where are we going next? And I can't thank you girls enough. I can't thank you girls enough. Like, my dreams are just coming true, like right in front of my eyes. And even as I was sharing about that last week's video on Instagram, I've told you guys that following the path of your dreams sometimes doesn't look like what you thought. Sometimes it's just crazy, you know. And the thing is, it'll even become more than you thought it was. Like your dream is now living outside of your body. You know, when it's in your body, sometimes you can just think of it as like a small thing, but like when it comes out, when it's a real thing, it's very scary because you feel so attached to it. Mtu hata akitry kukwambia sijui nini nini about your business, you're like, oh my God, you get very defensive. It's like it's your child. I think I need some water. I'll go get it. It's like it's your child. You know, you're very protective about it. So that's how I feel about my business. Today's video, I want to kind of give nuanced perspective because I shot that video about 3 weeks ago, and now after I've put it all out there, I want to just tell you guys in my head always I'm talking to girls alone, but I know there's also guys who watch my videos, so everybody can sit with us. I just want to kind of give a follow-up on everything. How am I really? I was talking to my dad the other day and I was telling him that I'm struggling with kind of redefining myself, like who am I now, because for such a long time I've just always been, you know, the designation of what I used to do or the job that I used to do. And I know a lot of people, like when somebody asks you, so who is Marie? Let's say your name is Marie as well. Who is Marie? Like the first thing you usually answer is I am a engineer. I am an accountant. I used to be an accountant. So like you define yourself first by what you do. And I hear most people saying that you should find a way to define yourself without including what you do, because that kind of brings in the perspective of you have to do something to be somebody. And let me tell you, you don't have to do anything to be someone. You're already enough, whether you're doing whatever job you're doing, whether you're not doing any job, whether you're doing your own business, you're already somebody. So maybe find a way to define yourself outside of your job. I have not figured it out yet, but I'm working on that. And what I was telling my dad was about, like, I don't know who I am anymore. And sometimes I struggle with the thoughts that maybe I started this business out of spite. Now, don't get me wrong. Spite is a very good reason to start things, to do things. Spite is one of the most fueling feelings. Doing things out of spite. Ebu, try it one day. Like, you just keep going. You know, your enemies will laugh at you if you fail. One thing about spite, it will keep you motivated. All right. Anyway, yeah, I was just saying that I don't want the only reason that I started my business to be all about, like, I was angry about ending the other job and I had to, that was never like the whole reason. I could have even been at that job still, but I think this year for me was about blooming. Even okay, go back to my birthday post when I turned 29, I was like, this is my blooming era. I want to, you know, flourish. So my dad told me that, you know, they have always been business people, they've always been entrepreneurs. And that's true, because I've never seen my dad working for anybody else. My dad, after he came back to Kenya, he opened up like his own businesses all around like Nairobi, Nini. And my mom also has been a businesswoman like forever. So that's the only reality I've ever known. I've always seen them like controlling their like hours such that they have some time for us and they have some time for their businesses, and every time visiting day they were always coming, Nini. So for me, that always felt like this is how things are done. That's what I've grown up seeing. So it was natural for me to want to also be a business person. You understand? Some of you might be new and you did not get to follow along on my journey of my grad school journey rather. I am a holder of a Masters of Commerce from Strathmore University. I studied, well, I already said it. I did strategic management. It's basically one of the specializations under MCOM. And, you know, I graduated, and after graduation, for me, it felt like I have to put something out there, because I always knew that the job I was doing was a placeholder. Because even from the moment I started that job, tulikuwa at loggerheads with my parents because they never understood why me as an accountant, what are you doing? Like, it doesn't make sense what you're doing, until like they saw how happy that job was making me. And that's when they were like, okay, fine, you can do it, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. And I remember one time my dad saying, hey, like, wewe venye unapenda your job yako, like it made me so happy. So he kind of just let me, at some point they just let me do it. And at some point I was just like, you know what, I'm old enough to make my own decisions. If you guys are disappointed, well, it's too bad for you guys. So that's another reason why for me it made sense to just dive into it. Because maybe let me take you a bit back to my previous job when I was an accountant. When I quit that job, I got into my next job like a week later. And I remember looking back at my corporate life, and I was like, I have been working for the last 5 years straight without a break. Like, I experienced kind of burnout towards the end there, right before I quit my job. Like, I experienced some level of burnout, and I think it was a long time coming. Like, I had needed a break, but then I had also started being so unhappy and underwhelmed and underpaid and all those things that I referenced in my last video. I'll not repeat. So like I had been like just running because survival. And especially after I had quit that first job and got into the second job, it was just purely about survival. Because when I quit the first job and got into the second one, I had no savings at all. When at least the second time I had runway to just like not work for a while. When I left that one, hata sikuwa najua next month nita survive aje na rent and everything. So this time, at least by the time I was leaving that job, I was better prepared. Like, I was better prepared financially. Emotionally, I could say I was probably emotionally prepared, because I had been working through it in therapy for over an year. Well, not that specific issue, but the last 3 months before I quit my job, the sole focus of my therapy had been to kind of get courage to firm up my boundaries, to ask for what I need, and to kind of stop being a people pleaser and overperforming in my role. So when like my expectations were not met in the job, the natural step was to, you know, step the fuck out. Yeah. So I had been to a certain extent emotionally prepared and also financially prepared. So those are very important things that you need to do before leaving a job. Always try to make sure that you have some support systems in place that will hold you, because again, getting a job is not easy. Yeah. uh I was talking about why outside of spite, because last week's video can make you think that I started Trail Max Expedition because of spite. Please. Okay, guy. Another reason why is I've been a leader all my life. If we went to the same primary school, you remember, I was a dom prefect. I was a dom prefect, dom captain. Yeah, that was for not from four. I mean, class 7 and 8, I was a prefect. Then coming to high school, again, I was a class prefect. From 3, from 4. And then when I got into uni, when I was in UON for undergrad, I did not really get into politics. I mean, I supported the guys who were vying during that time. Team Magana, strong team. Mnakumbuka Team Magana? If we went to the same uni and we're in the same year, you remember. So I was very supportive of other people who are kind of in political seats in that way. And when I got into Strathmore for my grad school, again, I was a class rep. I was the vice president of my class, and that was for the entirety of the time that I was in Strathmore. So basically, I've been a leader all my life. And musisau, mimi ni firstborn. I'm not even my father's second daughter or second child. I'm a leader in my family. And in fact, I'm the only firstborn in my family. Both my parents are not firstborns. Mimi ni firstborn kwetu. I'm the only firstborn kwetu. So I've just always been kind of in charge. Like, I always have that in charge thing. Like, I'm so used to being in charge. Sometimes it can lean into controlling. I'm working through it in therapy as well. Yeah. So yeah, basically that's another, like, I really enjoy leadership roles. And that's why, like, even in my former role, I was also a leader, and it came quite naturally to me. And sometimes when you have that kind of inclination of leadership, it becomes very hard to let other people lead. It becomes very hard, or even to just let people tell you what to do. And you guys know it's very hard in African culture, like, to speak over, especially men. As a woman, you're telling a man what to do. Hey, where? Hey. Anyway, yeah, that's another reason why I just have that natural inclination to want to be a leader of something. And then another thing is, I'm very good at crisis management. Like, throw me to the wolves, I'm coming back leading them. I'm like, okay, me, I'm not the one you should eat. Let me show you how we can arrange your meal plan for the next year, so that hata unajua mkinikula mimi, mkimaliza, you'll not have food tomorrow. So let me show you how we can make a strategy. And that's why I also did strategic management, because I'm very strategic in the things that I do. And I know even you guys have noticed, even the post that I was making last day, I told you guys as things were happening, but I don't really, you know, like, confidence is not loud, it's not shouting. I was just kind of living, hints here and there. And so, just some mtakuwa very keen when I say things, mtakuwa mnafikiria I'm meaning something. But let me tell you, I'm always going to come back and tell you when I'm ready. I don't believe in just jumping the gun and just putting everything out there. But whenever I'm ready to just say something, I'll always come back and tell you. And I hope you guys will always respect my privacy and always allow me to have that moment before I come and share. So that's another reason. I also believe, like, it was time. It was just time. And when the time is right, you just know. So it was just time for me to start my own business. And the thing is, nilikuwa nimeandika points nne zimeisha. So the thing is, like, when I started getting that idea of I need to open a business, like, haikuwa inaenda, it was not going away. I was dreaming about it every day. Like, sometimes I just believe I usually see a lot of things in dreams. So I started just dreaming about it. I'm just like dreaming about doing girls trips, doing, like, having my own business and all that. And I think being in the role that I was like very close to the top management. Like, I was among top management, so ilikuwa ina feel like I have something of my own, but it was never really mine. But I ran it like it was mine, so ilikuwa ina feel like maybe, so when hizo hiccups zilianza, it became crystal clear to me that this was never my my journey. This was somebody else's path. I need to start forming my own path. So that's All I'm trying to say is God bless the broken road that led me here. All right. Yeah. So those are some of the reasons. And that is basically, that was just kind of going back to, kind of setting the record straight. I don't want, like, sitaki mfikirie ni spite, but pia nimesema spite is among the reasons. Spite is among the reasons. Yeah. And what has been clear to me, like, since then, is that I can no longer keep negotiating my worth. I know what I'm worth. And then I've also added tax and all the good stuff. Na tax imeenda ikipanda huku Kenya. So my value is also, the tax ikipanda, mi napanda, na I'm right there, up there with the taxes, up there with oxygen. What I've also learned through this journey so far up to the place that I am today is that there's nothing wrong with my boundaries. Boundaries are meant to just protect me. And it's been easier to enforce boundaries, especially with new people. But with old people, it's very hard to enforce boundaries with people who are already used to you having none. Okay, so right now I don't really, I still struggle kidogo with enforcing the boundaries, but at least right now I advocate for myself, even with my voice shaking, even with paddling my feet huko chini ya maji sana, I still advocate for myself. If there's two feelings on the table to be hurt, I'm protecting my own feelings to not be hurt. Hear more of that next week. I've done a video for next week. I did it a bit kitambo kidogo, and I'll tell you how I've become so professional in disappointing other people, as long as I'm not disappointing myself. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with my boundaries. Maybe the people who are benefiting from lack of boundaries are the ones that are finding problems with me having boundaries. And I'm worth everything that I'm asking for. And I'm also telling you, so I'm telling myself, but I'm telling you as well, you're worth everything that you ask for. If you're going to ask for more money, you're worth that, because you yourself, you know how much work you do in whatever organization you're at. So if you go and ask for more money, you're worth that amount of money you're asking for. You can do everything that you put your mind on. I can do everything that I put my mind, I set my mind to do, basically. Limiting beliefs zimetuweka chini sana for such a long time. And the moment that we stopped having these limiting beliefs, we've just started flying. We've started going and soaring to greater heights. You do not have to perform. You do not have to overperform. You do not, sometimes, of course, the things you have to do will call in a bit more of your energy, a bit more of your power, but always make sure that the pinch matches the ouch, that what you're giving is equal to what you're getting. Sometimes when it's entrepreneurship, you might have to give more, but unajua siku moja itajipa. That's what you have to say with entrepreneurship, and you just really hope and pray that siku moja itajipa, because it's not easy, but it's worth it. And if it was easy, then everybody could have been doing it, but then it was not made for everybody, it was made for you. So do not disqualify yourself before trying. At least try. Ikikushinda, then find something else. There's always something that will align with you. If whatever you are on right now does not align, find something that aligns with you, because usually you'll find that things that align with you, kind of, they will unfold like more naturally. Not that they'll be easy, you'll find a way forward. And that's what I've been experiencing this week. I think I have done one hell of a job. I had 75 clients. I had 75 clients in the country, and I couldn't believe it. Like, ilikuwa tu up and down, up and down. Like, I set up a station at Hyatt, and I had to sit there and make sure everything was running smoothly. But you know what? I asked for a lot on my plate. I cannot not come and start complaining. I have a lot on my plate. My mission was to eat, and now I'm gonna eat. I've never done that number of people before. I was so, like, and it was not without its challenges. Some flights got cancelled. We had to do, crisis management and all of that. This week I also met a new business owner who runs his own company in Tanzania, and he taught me a lot of things, like, during the times that we got to hang out. Like, in my former role, we used to do a lot of B2C clients, and in his in the way he does his business, he does a lot of B2B clients. So I remember in my former role, like the owner always never wanted to do B2B, because dealing with other agents was not his thing. But this guy was just now bringing me to the side of B2B and telling me, if you do B2B, there's this, there's that. So I've been appreciating new perspectives, new ways of looking at things, because I also know that I don't know any. In fact, I know nothing. I know nothing. The more you learn, the more you realize you know nothing. So I've been learning a lot more while on the job. Like right now, I have a different type of job. Right now, I'm doing all the jobs in my company, but the job is different right now. And I really appreciate that I have not been alone in this. I have met amazing people in the industry. I met this one agent from UK, and she was so lovely. I mean, it was just, I'm having like the best time. I tell you, I'm having the best time. I'm really having the best time. I'm learning a lot, and I'm working alongside people who appreciate the kind of work that I'm doing. Like that UK agent was the one who had brought the clients to the country. So we were liaising together. And when I had finished the job, like once everybody has come to the country, done whatever they needed to do, and then left, she dropped me a text and she was like, "Oh, you know, Marie, thank you so much for all the amazing work and support during this week." And I was like, wow, that is actually so amazing. I was just doing my job, but somebody actually took their time and appreciated how I showed up and did the job. And that was one thing that I kept asking for in my former job, and it was never offered. Like I always asked, like, okay, I understand when I do mistakes, but when I do something good, is it okay that you guys also come and appreciate that, you know, you did this and you did it well, nini nini? That was never on the table, you know. And that can be very draining because you just keep getting bashed about mistakes, and it kind of, all the achievements are minimized, and you just feel like you don't get anything right. So that's why, if you're my friend, you know that I usually like to just come and tell my friends like good things, like I love how you do this, I love when you do this, I appreciate you, vitu kaa hizo, because sometimes the world can be so cruel and people don't appreciate each other enough. So my contribution to society is I'm always going to give people their flowers. I'll always do that. So that's where I am now. uh yeah, so how am I really? I think I'm doing really well. I think I'm not just surviving anymore. I think I'm thriving. I think I'm thriving. You know what? And like, I don't know if I should say this, but I closed a new client yesterday, and it was so like, I mean, it wasn't an easy client to close, because at first your client will go like, I have another agent who's giving me half the price that you're giving me. And I was like, well, I don't blame you. And if you see a better deal, I think you should always go for it. Always go for a better deal. So if you're getting a better deal elsewhere, just take it. You should take, I think you should take it. You know, that's me not negotiating my boundaries. You know how you see how these points are kind of connected. I'm no longer negotiating my boundaries. So my mom always tells me one thing, kama alikuwa ni customer wako, atarudi tu, hataenda mahali. And eventually that client, I don't know if they walikuwa tu a standoff hapo hivyo, nataka kuona kama nita break, nitampatia any more discount, but kwa nishamwambia like I cannot give you any further discount without compromising the quality of your itinerary, of your package. And eventually they were like, you know what, mom, these days people are calling me mom, nimefika hizo ages, madam and mom, and you know what, it's fine, it's okay. Yeah, so eventually the client was like, okay, we are gonna go with you. And that's the reality about the tourism business. There's so many tour operators out there, and when somebody is talking to you, they're talking to, and maybe that's also the reality in businesses in other industry. There's always other people who are offering the same service as you, but kama ni customer wako, atarudi tu, hakuna mali ataenda. You know, if it's meant for you, what's meant for you will always be for you. Yeah, so again, what I'll say is that keep putting in quality input, because that's the only thing you can control. It's very hard to control the output, but you can, and you have a say in the input. So always give quality input, and if you give quality input, you stand a chance of getting quality output. So that's where I am today. I'm happy, I'm grateful, I'm thriving, and I'm successful. Yeah, that's where I am today. And I thank God so much. And I thank everybody that has been cheering me on. I thank everybody that has been holding my hand. And like I always say, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I can't fail. I can't fail. And also I'm insane, so I won't allow myself to fail. That being said, I think that's the video, guys. I will love you and leave you, and I will see you on the next one for sure. if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. We are trying to grow. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and we need everybody to get on board. Please also follow my business page on Instagram, Trailmarks Expeditions. Follow me on TikTok, Marie's Travel Diary, and follow my personal page as well, marie.akanga, for more timely updates on what we are doing. And if you're looking for a trip, your trail starts here. Your trail starts here. Okay? Yeah. Love you, mean it, and I'll see you on the next one for sure. Bye.